Hello everybody, it's Peter Zellum's Griniflix Adventure 8 and welcome to another video. Yes, today we're talking about the Troopy and ongoing innovation that I'm doing to make it the ideal vehicle for my next journey. I've had this for over 12 years, I've made lots of improvements over the years, and there's one that still needs to be done, and that's to do with awnings. Yes, that's what today's video is. Have I created the best awning for the rear barn doors? Available is the question. We will see. Well, I do actually have an awning on the side of the car here, which is okay. It's an older awning from ARB, and it does the job. I had to do some modifications there because the first time I put it up, the wind got underneath the awning and it basically snapped off the arms. That's another story. But what I like about this particular awning is that you can get fly screen walls that go all the way around all four walls. So when I need shade and I need to get away from the flies or from the mosquitoes, that is perfect. And if the wind is strong, well, then you just have to tie down the awning so it doesn't fly away. However, most of the life resides around the back of the car here. So when you stop, this is where you want the shade, and you want to be able to set up the shade relatively fairly quickly. And if the weather, unlike today, which is a really nice sunny day, if the weather is a bit foul and it is drizzly or raining, and you want some protection at the back there if you're preparing lunch or dinner or a meal or coffee or tea or whatever. So that's been the dilemma. Now there are a lot of awnings that are available that are 270 degrees that pull out from the side and they go all the way around to the back doors here. Yes, that is a possibility. I did think about that, and that may well be a possibility for the future. And the disadvantage of those awnings are they're very large, obviously. There's significant weight that is added to the vehicle, and in the event of wind, well, then there's a lot of sail area that is also quite vulnerable. And they're quite imposing as far as physical size of it. All right, so the dilemma has always been, can something be created that basically covers the barn doors here, and that's simple to use. Now, one of my design philosophies with anything to do with this car or any four-wheel drive adventure vehicle is that whatever you have, whatever components you have, they need to be flexible in design. They need ideally multifunctional, so they can be used for more than one thing at different times and different situations. Economical and reliable. If something does go wrong, can you replace components and rather than having to replace the whole lot? So there were all sorts of considerations, well, they are considerations that always goes into my design innovation thought process. All right, so let's why don't I just pull out all the components that I've put together. And again, this hasn't just happened instantly, it's a sequence of events, and I eventually found out what the solution was. Another challenge that the Troopies have, and that's to do with this door here. That's a really heavy door with the rear wheel on it. And yes, there's a bit of resistance there, and the car right now is on a slope that way, so the majority of the weight's opening the door, so there's no big deal. This is a small door and therefore there's not much weight there, and but you know, there's not any resistance either, so if there's a bit of a wind, this will close on you, and if the car is leaning on the opposite direction, then this door will close on you. So I haven't been too concerned about this door, and my fix my fix for this door when I bought the car in 2010 was to get a block of wood, door stop block, and yep, it goes there. So when I move the door, it sort of just closes up onto the block of wood there and stops the door from closing on me. So that's been a safety feature, and I've never come up with a better design to replace that until now. So why don't I start with the way I fix this door opening business so you can keep the door open, and that is part of the new awning that I've designed. Okay, let's do that. This is it. It's a tent pole. It's one of these aluminium tent poles that are extendable, so you can just lock it into place. One end is just a rubber plastic cap on the tube, and the other end, like any tent pole, is a little peg on the end. All right, so how can this be used? I'll show you. That's it. That's how simple it is. It's only taken me 12 years to work that one out. Is that the best idea yet? Now, that's worth a thumbs up on this video. Are you going to do that on your Troopy? It's fantastic. And you can hang lights off it. Whatever you need. It's a brilliant idea as far as I'm concerned. I've never seen it done before, so hopefully this will be traveling throughout the world and everybody will be doing this with their Troopy. A simple aluminium tent pole. They come in steel as well, but then steel is heavier, aluminium is much lighter. Alright, so the only adjustment I've done is I've just put a cable tie. I've put a cable tie, can you see? It's a cable tie here. And that just is attached to the top loop, just here. So that just stays there permanently. So that's how simple it is. The pin here just fits in the corner here, and because of the rubber, it stops it from actually falling down. The cable tie here stops the bar from falling down also. And that's the reason why it's such a simple, easy and effective design. Outstanding. Alright, so that's the first part. Now, how do we make that into an awning? You might have sort of already guessed that there's something to do with these tent poles, alright? And also, we'll need some sort of a cover. There it is there. Alright, so this is readily available from any camping store or hardware store, and it's just a tarpaulin. In this case here, it's one of these plastic tarpaulins, but it is a sort of a heavy duty one, and it's got some of these eyelets here which are quite strong as well. And I think it's 1.8 meters by 2.4 is a good size. Okay. Now, the important thing here is it's got two eyelets there. A couple of carabiners. And we'll just put those through the eyelets here. And I've got a couple of cable ties up there on the roof rack, and they'll just attach this to it. So far so good, but you might say, Peter, it's so floppy, can't you put some more structure behind it? My original thought was to get a tent pole and put it on these eyelets here, and then have cable, some ropes and a peg and that sort of thing. But I thought, here's a way of doing this better without putting anything in the ground. So that's the next part. Two more adjustable aluminium tent poles. A couple of ropes so you can tension it, some elastic cord here, elastic rope, a couple more carabiners here, like so, and we'll start to actually tension this a little bit. So I've got port and starboard. Port a little bit on the left hand side, no, a little bit of port left in the bottle, port left is red, starboard right, okay. So I can just now, so one goes through an eyelet at the back there, and the other one goes around underneath the wheel arch. So one goes there, and the other end just goes underneath the wheel arch here. Just put it up there, get underneath the wheel arch here, and voila, that goes there. Alright, so now the tent poles. So the tent poles, this part here, goes in one corner and also the other corner. And the other part you just extend, just place into the roof rack. And that will be underneath the tarpaulin there, so you'll see. And likewise for that end there. Okay, so far so good. We've got a bit of wind around here, so that's a good indication of what's actually going on. Now right now that can just can go up a bit. There's still quite a bit of tension there, so however, if we want to tension it more, then that's where these come into it, the ropes. Now this end I just attach to the wheel arch, to the carabiner clip, and the other end to here, and then I can tension that around there. I will show you. It doesn't need a lot of tension, but again, depends on how much wind there is. If there's a lot of wind, I don't think any awning is going to last, so you just have to sort of monitor that. The choice is obviously not to have it attached to the vehicle here, it's just to have the tent pole on the ground if it's really strong wind. But anyway, we've got wind now, so it's a good test. Okay, so the prevailing wind is coming from over there, behind the camera. So that's pushing into the car. So that's sort of a good indication of what's going on here. But the main thing right now is that we do have shelter. And the wind has been stopped a little bit, which is great. And I can cook away and do my stuff. Now if you wanted to be more efficient with this whole process, is to turn the car around so that the car is facing the wind and we're in the leeward side. There we go, I've turned the car around with the awning attached. Outstanding, isn't it? And the wind's changed now, but anyway, so the principle's there. The fact is that nothing has to be attached to the ground, and you can move the awning around as you like because everything is attached to the roof. Brilliant, eh? Brilliant. Give it a thumbs up. Brilliant. Now the alternative is to actually use these tent poles. We still keep this pole here to keep the barn doors open, but now we can use those tent poles in a different way and use those ropes there and tensioner, and we'll put a couple of pegs into the ground. Let's see how that handles this particular wind situation. Alright, so with these windy conditions, I guess this is a better scenario, having at least the tent poles there. But I guess the main point is that you can have these poles just attached to your car if the wind conditions aren't too bad, and so you can have shelter. You don't have to attach anything to the ground. As far as costs are concerned, well, you got the cost of the tent poles. So each one of those poles is about 35-40 Australian dollars. So yeah, well, 3 poles means $120. And then you've got the guide ropes, and you've got a couple of pegs there, some carabiners, they're probably about $1 each, and some elastic rope. Now the good thing about all of those things is that anything breaks, you can just go to a hardware store, camping store or whatever, and you're able to get the individual components. If you're not using the awning in any way, well then you can use the drop sheet, the tarpaulin here, you can use that as a ground sheet or whatever you want to use it for. And ropes you could always use, and you can see that those tent poles have multi-function as well. Well, that's it, I think. I think this is outstanding. It works really well. And then depending on the weather conditions, you have it set up like this. Or you can actually set up these poles on top of this one. So those other 2 poles were just sitting on top of that, and then going into the roof rack up there. All right, well, if you think this was useful for you, you're going to attempt to do something similar with your Troopy and the back door. If nothing else, I reckon this is it. Keeping those barn doors open with a tent pole like that, it's just outstanding. Yes, well, this is a series of videos that I'm actually producing in preparation for this journey, and I did one recently on induction cooking. That is a game changer, I think, with regards to safety and speed of cooking. But in order to achieve that, you need a lot of power. So you need somewhere to store the power, and that's where a lithium power station is a game changer as far as I'm concerned for adventure travel and for camping. And the one I use is one by iTech World, and I am an affiliate of iTech World. There was a video on this up there somewhere. But if you need power stations, if you need anything to do with solar blankets or charging devices, DC to DC converters and everything, things like that, iTech World, Australian company based in Western Australia, can provide all that. I'm an affiliate of that company. Now what that means is, for my YouTube viewers, is that I can provide a discount code, Adventure8 discount code. And if you use that discount code on their website, or if you phone them, or if you turn up to their store and you order something, use that discount code, you'll get an additional discount on top of any other discount promotions that are going at the time. And that should be at least 5% on top of whatever you get, which is great value, I think. So if you now being an affiliate, that means that there'll be a little bit of commission that comes back to the channel, and that helps in supporting the channel so I can provide new content for you to view. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, really appreciate it. And if it's the first time to my channel, you haven't subscribed already, please do subscribe, press notifications, you'll be notified when the next video is available. And there'll be more on just the refinement before we go on this magnificent journey around Australia. And if you want to join me on any part of that journey as a tag along, then reach out to me on adventure8.com.au. Thanks again for watching. Look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye.